It is a scam when you don't allow everyone to operate on fair terms.
We are the Robin Hoods of sports betting. We take something back from the rich bookies and enable our customers to beat them instead.
G'day everyone, back here for another customer interview. Alex from Trademate Sports here. I am joined by one of our customers who has logged a lot of trades, over 7,500 in fact. His name is Matthew Clark. How are you, Matthew?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Very good, mate. Got a fellow Australian along, which is always good, and can finally record a video in a nice time zone for myself, mate. Do you want to quickly let us know what subscription package you're using with Trademate, just to add a bit more context around our conversation today?
Yeah, I'll just bring that up. So currently I'm on the core monthly plan, which I think is the basic Trademate subscription.
Yeah, and you've always used Trademate Core?
Yes.
All right, cool. So for those who don't know, Trademate Core is the subscription package which covers all the soft bookmakers. So I think you get 90 plus 100 bookmakers that we cover there. And yeah, they're all the soft bookmakers. So the ones that are a lot easier to beat is probably the best way to put it. Mate, I will just get up your stats now on my screen. So this is your dashboard. I'll go over to your analytics, which says a bit more. So, mate, pretty impressive stuff, but I would say overall a pretty interesting analytics page you have here. So you got just over 24,000 Australian dollars in profit, which I think is about 14,000 euros, something like that, for people who are looking for the conversion there. An incredible amount of money turned over. I mean, people can look at all your stats here: average closing edge, closing EV. Mate, do you want to maybe just hand it over to you and kind of give me your thoughts on your analytics page here?
Yeah. I guess as you can see, it's a pretty interesting looking graph. It's not what I think you'd normally see from a Trademate customer. So I think right around, I don't know if you're able to zoom in, but if you go and look at that sort of like 140, 279 trades point when I first started. Yeah, around there, what you'll see is I think I lost about 60% of my starting bank within 300 trades, which was really a bit of a surprise. And you see that it took a long time for it to the variance to come back in the positive, and that was super. I guess it was super challenging because I was sort of expecting that I'd be looking at, I guess, the first few thousand as sort of just following that curve, but it was definitely a bit of a wild journey for me. But I got there in the end. Yeah,
no, certainly, no. I mean, it was kind of a similar scenario. I mean, completely different graphs overall, but just this like journey here from, zero to, I mean, what are we at now? 4,000, just over 4,000 trades here. Now you've hit a bit of a profit, but at this point, 3,959, you were still $783 down, which is, it's pretty remarkable to think that, after basically 4,000 trades, that you're still in the negatives. Can you kind of go through your mindset at this point and like what you thought overall about everything?
Yeah, well, I have a little bit of a maths background, so I looked at the lines and I could see that they were converging, which gave me a lot of confidence that I would be profitable in the long term. But yeah, at this point, I was like, because I think I'd won about 20% on turnover on that big spike, something like that, over a few hundred bets, and I had like something incredible, like maybe 20 bets in a row win. And then all of a sudden, the complete opposite happened. So
it's pretty remarkable, isn't it, to think that like at this point, so from the point I was at before, you've basically made over $25,000 from that negative 700 I was at before. It's hard to toggle now, but yeah, 25,000 profits in 200 trades or something like that, mate. You must have been quite elated.
Yeah, I definitely was. And it's funny because I'd actually looked into what the mathematical expectancy of like being negative at that point was, and I know it was very low. So I was like looking at it, and this is going to have to go up, and that's exactly what it did. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's terrific, mate. But I mean, still now you're you're well below your closing EV. You've never really touched your closing EV since the first couple hundred trades. Let's zoom forward a bit, I guess, and have a look at this part here. So you've hit your peak, probably about 65 grand in profit, something like that. But at that point you were still about 30k behind your closing EV. Yeah, can you maybe zoom back a bit and think about what you were feeling at this point here?
Yeah, I was ecstatic. I was sort of expecting it to keep going up at that point, but it just hit a bit of a patch of bad variance again. But I think it will keep going up.
Yeah. So then I guess the last 1,000 trades, you've gone from 64,000 in profit, and you're now sitting at the number of 24,000. So essentially, you've dropped 40 grand in the last 1,000 trades. Now that is obviously an extreme case of variance, but how are you feeling currently about it all?
Yeah, well, like I've got a lot of confidence in the converted to the closing line, so I'm pretty good at detaching myself emotionally and just keep registering trades, basically.
Yeah. Okay, mate. And your relationship currently with your closing EV, you're nearly $100,000 underneath your closing EV. Do you think your closing EV is accurate? Like, do you think you really should be at 116,000 profits? Because I did have a quick breeze through your trades before, and there are a lot of I only looked through a couple pages, so it's not a very good sample size. But from what I could see, it was very, I guess, not as efficient leagues, you would say, like not as much liquidity in those leagues. So that closing line data might not be as accurate, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, I think overall it's pretty accurate. I did use the big data tool to look into those leagues and just see whether they were working efficiently, but they seem to be going fairly well. So yeah, I think it should be close to correct.
And what sports are you mainly betting on, mate?
Mainly basketball at the moment.
Yeah, I think I noticed that when I went into your trade. So, any reason for that?
Yeah, there is. Mainly that the market movements are a lot sharper on basketball, I've found, so it enables me to get a higher EV.
Yeah, okay. Very interesting. And any other sports that you're taking an interest in currently, or are you kind of just sticking to basketball now?
I do occasionally bet on soccer, but yeah, basketball has been the primary interest at the moment.
And you're betting on basically anything basketball, whether it's recommended or unrecommended league?
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Very interesting, mate. I mean, we can go through your presets, but one of the questions I wanted to ask firstly was I find this quite interesting. Your average ROI. This is quite rare for a customer. I mean, your whole situation is quite rare, to be honest. But this might be the rarest part, is that your flat ROI is sitting at 2.5%. So if let's just say you put $100 on every single trade, all of those 7,500 trades, you'd be sitting at an ROI of 2.5%. So then you'd be talking about, a profit of something like 50 or 60 grand, maybe more than that. What are your thoughts on your staking and why that might be happening?
I don't have access to a lot of bookmakers, so it's a little bit misleading in that some of the trades I'm registering come out with like a really big I'll occasionally put a really big stake on something that's not actually real. So I'll put, say, if there's a basketball line that changes, I might take multiple positions on it. So, which results in a bigger or small profit or a loss.
Okay, so you're saying that you think the difference in ROIs between your actual ROI and your flat ROI is just down to that?
Largely.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. All right. I think that's. I mean, unless there's anything else you wanted to go through in this analytics page, we can kind of go over to your presets. Is there anything else?
No, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, from Australia, how do you find betting in general? Because being over here, I mean, most of our customers are betting on soccer and stuff like that. It's not the most opportunistic place to be betting from, considering the hours difference. How do you find that part of it?
Yeah, it's tough. The biggest challenge from Australia is obviously all the legislation that we have here. So we don't have as many opportunities. But I guess you've got to sort of play smarter to keep your head in the game.
What hours are you normally doing?
In terms of total hours per week on this?
No, just like what times of the day in Australia are you betting?
Oh, I always finish before midnight. So yeah, usually just around. I've got my computer running, but yeah, generally maybe 6 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that sounds about right. All right, mate. We'll go over to your presets. I haven't really had a look at these. I mean, I'm assuming basketball is probably your main one at the moment.
Yeah.
So we can take a look at this. I haven't even looked at these. So it's pretty high minimum edge. Any reason for that? Why you're not happy to go? Are you not happy to go a bit lower than that?
Yeah, there is a reason for that, and it's because the books that you see in my preset aren't actually the ones I trade off. So I'm purely using that to monitor the market movements.
Okay, so I mean, I guess the biggest problem with trading on these lower league basketball games would be that you're probably going to get limited pretty quick. Is it safe to say then that you're not using that you're not betting with soft bookies?
No, I am. I've got a couple that keep me going, so I'm very lucky in that regard.
Oh wow, very lucky, mate. Are they Australian bookies?
Yes.
Okay, so this is no use to anyone outside of Australia. So not many. Hopefully, there's a few Australians listening. That might be some good news for them. And obviously, mate, you're keeping it in the trade feed, like you said before. To I don't know, you're trying to like just pounce on more opportunities.
Yeah, that's the idea. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Any other presets worth looking at? You think, mate, for yourself?
Well, I guess if you see, I've got that Sky Bet preset. That I found that to be really useful in that it's very good at tracking sharp movements. It's very accurate. So that's probably a good one to help people out.
So you're saying, can you explain that a bit more? Like why if you see a move that Sky Bet have been slow to pick up on, why are they better to track than another bookie?
I think it's just the way. So bookmakers have an odds generation mechanism. In the case of Sky Bet, theirs is very consistent with the market. So it's very rare for them to have something consistent with time of the market. So if a trade's been there for say 10 or 20 minutes, it's very rare for them to have it still on their book. But a lot of other ones will keep it there for hours.
So, yeah, okay. So I'm just trying to understand. So if Sky Bet if something comes up for Sky Bet, you know that it's a good move, if you know what I mean.
That's correct.
Yeah, okay. And then I assume you wouldn't go then betting it at Sky Bet, you'd be betting it somewhere else.
That's correct.
Yeah. Okay, mate. Very interesting stuff. And I guess finding out about all this stuff, do you think, is it just time spent on the big data tool, do you think?
I think it's just what really helped me was just going through all the bookmakers and then just learning about how they set their odds. So you can match them up to Trademate, and then once you do that, you'll sort of have an understanding of what's going to happen with what's likely to happen with the market movements.
Yeah, is it something that took you a lot of time to figure out, or relatively quickly?
Yeah, no, it did take a fair bit of time, probably. Yeah, a lot of time invested there.
But I mean, overall, it's probably worth your time considering where you're expected to be right now.
That's correct.
Yeah. Okay, mate. I won't go into your profile. There's just no point because I can't be stuff blurring out your email. But your Kelly bet percentage is 40%. Medium risk. I mean, normally we recommend people to go 30% or below. Any reason why you've decided to go a bit more riskier?
Well, for me, it's not relevant because if I'm going with, say, a 50% Kelly, I'm still not going to be able to get on for that 50%. So it's totally irrelevant for me.
No, okay. And do you think like your Kelly bet percentage being a bit higher than low risk, but higher than a 30%, do you think that's attributed to kind of your big swings?
Yeah, it did. Well, what I did right at the start was put it on 50%, which probably did have a lot to do with it. Yeah, so I think earlier when I wasn't limited and I had a lot of active books, then that definitely had a lot to do with the big swings because I was obviously investing a lot more money in the market.
Yeah, makes sense. And how many bookmakers do you reckon you've gone throughout your 7,500 trades?
Hard to estimate. Maybe 20 or 30.
Yeah. Okay. And then, like, how many bookmakers do you think you need to have at a point in time, running currently to make the use out of Trademate?
Well, it depends on what bookmakers you have. Is the answer. Some bookmakers I wouldn't go near anymore because they're just not going to let me have enough turnover regardless. But yeah, I think the answer is it all depends on what bookmakers you've got.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so what was your experience, mate, with betting and gambling when you first started Trademate?
Yeah, I was in match betting, so I was just getting bonus bets, and basically, I was really good at that. I'd work out all the promo offers and then get the bonus bets, and I could sort of see that the markets were changing really quickly. So the idea of edge was pretty intuitive, and then I found Trademate was just a great platform to find that. Yeah.
Do you mind revealing how much you made through match betting?
I'm not actually sure. I think it'd be around 17,000, but I'm not sure on the exact figure.
That's pretty bloody decent. How'd you find all those bonuses, mate?
You just got to do your research, I think, is the answer. There's a lot of price boosted bonuses I got that you sort of just arb them on Betfair.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm noticing that in Australia, there's lots of promotions, isn't there, for price boosts and stuff like that?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Were you skeptical at all of Trademate when you first came across us?
Yeah, I was at the start. The whole idea of them getting accurate, being able to get the accurate market was I was pretty skeptical of it, but after checking for myself, it lined up. So it was good.
So what made you get over the hump then of it not becoming skeptical?
I guess just checking each of the checking where the lines, like just verifying that the closing lines were what Trademate said they were. Once I found that to be true, then I was very confident in it.
Yeah, makes sense. Starting bankroll, mate.
It's around, I think, $12,000.
All right, so that's pretty high. I mean, I don't know what that converts to in euros, but it'd be maybe 7,000 or 8,000 euros, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean that's pretty high. It's just a little bit over what we recommend, but I mean if you've got the bankroll, it's just it's not a bad idea to start with something big because you can get more out of Trademate that way. Looking back now, mate, are you happy with that decision?
Yeah, I think it was fine.
Yeah. And yeah, how many trades are you registering a week? Because I think I had a quick look before. It didn't look like you were doing many a week nowadays.
I might only get 10 or oh no, I'll probably get like around 20 or maybe 30, but more like 20.
Is that out of choice, or is that just through the limitations of whatever's coming through?
Yeah, it's just limitations.
Yeah. Okay. And I guess having the bigger bankroll helps a bit too, mate, because you can, bigger bankroll, bigger bets, and you don't have to really worry about covering the subscription costs and things like that.
Yeah.
Okay. And how much turnover do you reckon you go through?
A week?
This is pretty decent here. You've got nearly, how does that make you feel? Nearly 3 million Australian dollars in settled turnover.
Well, it's a lot of turnover. Yeah, it is a lot. I often look at that and think, well, if only that was all profits, but I can dream on, you know. I guess the bookies they have to pay tax on my turnover, so it's probably not real good for them, but that's how it makes me feel.
So to get those 20 or so, 30 or so trades a week, how many hours do you reckon you're spending on Trademate?
Not that many, probably around 6 hours a week, I'd say.
Yeah. So, I mean, I assume, I'm just guessing you have another job and then you just have Trademate on in the background throughout the day?
I don't run it at work because I actually got in trouble for doing that once. So I stopped doing that, but I do it when I get home.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense. What's your main reason for using Trademate outside of just trying to make a secondary income, or I guess maybe it is your main reason?
Yeah, I guess that's a good one. Secondary income is the main reason I use it. Other reason I think it's just I like to learn stuff, so it's very interesting learning about online gambling.
Yeah. Was there ever a time, mate? I mean, a few times where you were well below. I mean, you're still well below your EV. I mean, you've had a few bad losing runs too. Is there any time where you felt like quitting?
Yeah, I mean, by far the worst was that massive cliff when I first started. And that was around there. That was by far the worst. I was new to the software and I hadn't really checked it out 100% thoroughly, and that was really really tough.
Yeah, so I mean, you said you started with 12,000, didn't you? So you'd lost half your bankroll there after 400 trades.
Yeah, and that was really really tough considering I was new to it.
And what was getting you through that point? Just checking out that the software was accurate in the closing odds and stuff like that. Was that what got you through, or was it more so just having a background in maths and variance and stuff like that?
Both, I'd say.
Yeah. Lastly, mate, tips for people starting out Trademate this week or next week. Any tips for them?
Yeah, well, my big tip is use accumulators. So soft bookmakers have like a risk management system. So if you understand, if you sort of look at the way I do my presets, it's fairly easy on some books to work out profitable accumulators because you can get multiple lines to identify multiple lines fairly efficiently. So something you definitely, if you've got a larger bankroll and you're wanting to sort of get a bit more liability on the book, then using accumulators is a great way to do that.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant, mate. Is there like an odds range where you don't touch accumulators, or are you happy to just combine any odds no matter what it is?
Like the total odds of accumulator, I mean, the more value lines you can get on accumulator, the better, because they multiply. And that's also good in that if you have a bookmaker account and they're looking at you from risk management and you have one winning accumulator, they think that you're just lucky, right? Because that's something they don't see a lot.
Yeah, no, it's a great point. It's something that we've told everyone to, maybe throw in every now and then so you can make your accounts look dumb, essentially. But what about staking for those accumulators, mate? Because I guess you are accumulating more EV, but at the same time your odds are getting bigger, so that affects like a Kelly bet percentage. So what do you do with your staking in those circumstances?
I think actually technically if you use a Kelly, because the odds multiply and so does the EV, the actual stake is the same as a single bet, the largest single bet.
Right, really? How big an odds are you happy to go though?
I'd take. I wouldn't be happy with something above 10-1, really. But if I had a lot of multiple outcomes at a higher odds range, like say 10-1, then I'd still go with it.
Yeah. So you're not actually once you've combined all these together, you're not actually going in and trying to calculate a fair stake. You're kind of just almost, or like you said, you're just betting it based on one of the singles, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, I'll go off this highest value single. That's correct.
Yeah. Okay. And mate, what's your plan for the future with your betting? Like not only just Trademate, but if you've got anything else you're looking to do?
Yeah, I do Trademate, and I do a lot of horse racing. So in Australia, we've got quite high limits on horse racing, which has been really good for me. And I think this year I had a lot higher turnover on horse racing than sports. So that's something I do quite a bit.
Yeah, do you just do the horse racing off your own bat, or is what do you follow, a tipster or something like that?
I've a bit of a maths background, so I've got my own model for the racing. I've had a bit of success with, so I keep going with it.
Yeah, and so you've had no problems getting your bets down, because I know the minimum bet laws allow you to win 2,000 for a winning horse race. Has that proved to be true? Because I talked to a guy called Scott Ferguson, who's a bit of a guru in the gambling industry, and he was saying that they're not really fulfilling they're not fulfilling the minimum bet laws in some cases.
Yeah, that's true. But I find that if you're betting later in the day with major corporates, I think unless you're a huge punter with putting millions of dollars on, then yeah, you should be fine.
Okay, so you've had no problem getting any bets in that are to win 2,000 or 1,000 on the place?
Not with fixed odds, but I mean, obviously, exotics is totally different, because they don't have minimum bet law there.
Yeah. All right. Terrific, mate. I really enjoyed that. Is there anything else you wanted to go through, or anything you wanted to say to our watchers and listeners at home?
No, I think that's it. I hope they find my presentation helpful.
Yeah, no, it's been tremendous, mate. I've really enjoyed it. And for everyone watching, we'll have at least one or two more, maybe more, of these customer interviews coming up. So if you have any questions you'd like me to add, I can do so. In the meantime, though, go subscribe to our YouTube channel, like the video, and of course, start a free week trial of Trademate, and maybe one day you'll have made tens of thousands of dollars with the software, like our friend Matthew here. But thanks for coming along again, Matthew, and we'll catch you soon.
No worries. Thanks, Alex.